Hi, this is Liz, and welcome to my podcast, Spiritually Speaking with Liz. Well, today we're going international. We've got a beautiful international flavour here. From America, we've got the beautiful Mary Armerndarez is an intuitive healer. She's a motivational speaker and a power retrieval coach. That's what got me. Her passion is helping others raise their vibration and step into their own individual power. She has spoken at numerous conferences, including the Conscious Life Expo, and Mary's mission is to help you retrieve your personal power so you may achieve mental, physical, and spiritual happiness in your daily life. I just love that. Mary, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Liz. It's an honor to be here. I'm excited to teach some really needed techniques right now.
They are.
To bring in more love. That's what we need right now, more personal love. So thank you.
No, you're welcome. Whereabouts are you in the States as a matter of interest?
I'm in California, Southern California.
Very
Yeah.
nice. Okay, so my thing, if you like, is I always like to know how people started on their spiritual journey. I mean, I've got so many things I want to ask you. I want to ask all about the power retrieval, but I think I'd like to start with your personal story. So what got you spiritually to where you are today?
Okay, so as a young child, I grew up in a family of 10, and
Wow.
I was the baby girl. And we lived in a house that was over 100 years old. So I could see everything in the house. I could feel the spirits. Had a little, he looked like a little gnome that would sit on my bed. And later now I know he was actually a David angel. And he was like one of my guides as a child. So I was always the weird kid, as you know, the weird kid out of the 10 of us. And I grew up Catholic, and my parents would take us to church every Sunday. And as I grew up in my teens, I would go to church and just cry and go, I just want to feel love. I want to feel love. And I didn't feel that in the Catholic community. It's okay, whatever everybody's beliefs are. For me, I really had a hard time. I was scared of God. I was scared that you're going to go to hell or purgatory, and all that was programmed inside of me. And then I went to private school, and I ended up having a baby at 18 years old.
Okay.
So here comes the shame, here comes the guilt, here comes the anxiety. It horrible how I could feel that vibration back then of just low, like, oh my gosh, right? I'm such a terrible person. I'm going to go to hell. This is horrible. So I had my beautiful daughter, moved out of my parents' house, and ended up marrying a man who was 15 years older than me. Now, I'm a young woman, young, like 20 years old. So I gave all my power to him. All my power. I did what he told me to do. I was a big bright light, but he liked to step on it all the time because people are attracted to me because I'm so loving and compassionate. So he was always stepping on me. So I was in that relationship for a long time. And then my daughter that I had when I was 18 was now about 24, 25. And she said, Mom, you need to read this book on the 12 archangels from the central sun. And I said, oh my gosh, okay. I was so drawn to it. And as soon as I picked up that book list, started reading it, it was like all the power that I had as a young child started coming back. Wow. I don't need to live like this. I don't need to be fearful. I don't need to have anxiety. I don't need somebody telling me what to do. You create your own reality, Mary. It's time for you to take charge of your life. So that was a huge change. So I started, meditating, reading more, joining classes. And so now I'm a feeler. So now I can feel the angels. I can feel my guides, and the power just grows more and more within me. So that's basically how I got started. And that's how the power retrieval technique started coming in, because I
see
was
that.
retrieving my power, right? So that's how I got started with coming back. So I did like a full circle, like most of us do. You can
Yeah.
all feel our guides and our angels as young children, and then you lose it. And we go through trauma and we go through all this stuff and we beat ourselves up until something sparks, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I love to teach people, that there's a spark inside of us. Let's regain our power.
That's amazing. And that really highlights something for me. I've got a real thing that if somebody says to me, here's a book for you to read, or you really need to read this book, then for me, it's the old adage, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And how beautiful that it came from your daughter.
Yes. And she's very intuitive and she's very enlightened, and she has daughters. And now I see my granddaughters have it at a very young age. And I keep it active with them. Grandma, do you see the fairies? Grandma, let's call on the
Oh,
angels.
nice.
Grandma, I can feel them tickling. So it's important for us as grandparents and parents to keep that alive.
Mm-hmm.
Those are not imaginary friends. Though they're really feeling, seeing, sensing the beings that are around them. So I think it's our job to keep that alive so they don't have to go through what we have to go through, right?
Yeah, I think that's lovely. And they are so blessed, such blessed little girls that they can be seen like that and not be laughed at or don't be so silly or
Yeah.
whatever comes up, that I think that's really special, really
Yeah,
special.
it truly is. I go and help out at the classroom with my little one, and they're
Oh,
like, my grandma can fly.
oh.
My grandma, like,
Oh, that's so cute. Oh. That's so cute. Let me ask you, so going back to your story, so when you were younger and you could see these spirits around you,
Mhm.
were you scared of them?
Some of them I was very frightened of because I didn't realize we didn't have a television. So now that I look back of what I was seeing and kind of been able to go in and clear my parents' house, there was a murder in that house.
Oh, wow.
So I would see as a young child the walls bleeding, and
Oh,
I would see a lot of darkness in this house. And I'd always tell my dad, Dad, there's something in this house, Dad. And that's why that little Deva guide would come and protect me, because I could see everything in this house. Now that house had a murder, and the blood was dripping down the walls. Now that I've researched and figured out why I was seeing this, but yeah, it was very dark and very scary. And
yeah.
they thought I was the weird one because I'd have trauma nightmares, and I'd walk around the house in the middle of the night and the doors would unlock and they'd lock me out. And it was horrible as a child.
Sounds it. And so did that scare you? Did you then shut down?
Yep. I
Mm.
was very frightened. And it has affected me my whole entire life until now. I can control it.
Mm-hmm.
And now when my husband comes home or whatever, and he's sleeping next to me, this is very important for people to understand. You're picking up energy and you're like, wow, who did you bring home with you?
Yeah.
And you got to like clear it, right? And like when my husband has nightmares, I'm like, okay, he's in the astral field. We need to clear this because it's coming into our home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So,
important. My husband's used to it. He'll walk in and go, "Oh no, wait, Palo Santo."
no, you can feel it. You're like, oh my gosh,
Mm,
we're off. And
yeah.
like when you go to the grocery store too, it's like, whoa, you really got to protect yourself, especially the more open you become. Darkness likes to come to the light. So you're a magnet,
Mm.
bottom line.
Yeah, and I've recently found this out. It's not something that I realized. That there's a Reiki healer that I go to who's just unbelievable, and I tend to have things here that always latch on here. So we'd
Mm-hmm.
been away to a busy seaside town over New Year, and it was a lot busier than I thought it was going to be. And being an empath, I find that quite overwhelming if I'm not expecting it. If I'm expecting it, I can protect myself with it, and that's okay. But when I'm not, I find it quite overwhelming. And I went to see him after we got back, and he said, where have you been? I can just feel all this here, like all this energy, other people's energy just stuck in there. And
That's interesting that it's in your neck.
Mm.
It's like they're trying to voice through you or be cleared through you that's interesting, through the throat.
Yeah. I'd not heard of it. And it's not, I had been having neck problems and shoulder problems. And, once he said that, it's always like the collarbones. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. I get that now.
Yeah. Because, when you've been hit is when you have a headache or the shoulder, or, you've been hit and you're like, wait a minute. Because what your point is like when you're not protected and you're not aware of it and you're having a good time, you're out there having a good time. And then you're like, oh, whoa, my vibration just crashed. It's because you've been attacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really important. And what I teach people to protect yourself this is the greatest tool that everybody should do this before you go anywhere, especially if you're going to a hospital, you're going to go into a bar. You're going to go out where there's a lot of people with the vibrations crash. This is the tool. This is great. So what you do is you call on Archangel Michael and you imagine him coming through, and he takes his sword and he pulls it out. So now it's sapphire blue, right? And you put it right down your top of your head, all the way down your spine. And then you just imagine it blowing out, because he's the protection, right?
Oh, I love that. I've never heard of that, putting it actually down your spine. I've heard of it,
down your spine,
putting the tires and all that. Wow, I like that.
Yeah. And then another great tool that I teach is what you do is you take perfume, anything, cologne, perfume, whatever you have, good old vanilla extract, it doesn't matter. We all have a Christ chakra. The Christ chakra is the base of your spine, that little bump that you're like, what's that for? That bump is where your soul comes in, your soul goes out, a lot of energy moves. So that needs to be protected. All you have to do is put a little bit right there, put Archangel Michael's sword down your back, and you're good to go out.
I'm going to try that. I've
cool.
not heard of that yet. Yeah, I really like the idea of the sword and then the pushing out.
Yeah. I actually have a free meditation on my website for the Archangel Michael protection.
Okay, I'll pop that link in the show notes then below for people to go and check that out.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. When you shut yourself down to spirit, obvious reasons, but then how did you, so they started to come back in with the book. And then how did you, this is something I'm asked all the time, how did you learn to trust them? How did you learn to know that that was them and that the guidance that you were getting was right, that you weren't making it up, all the usual things we go through?
I'll tell you how. So when I started getting more spiritually active, I would tap into the astral field. So I'd hear really scary, bad people talking in my ear, like frightfully scary, where I'm up all night going, oh my gosh, what did I tap into? And this is a very important thing too, because when you are new in tapping into the different spiritual realms, whatever you want to call it, trying to get to your higher self, you are going to be challenged by these different entities, psychic attacks, all those things. So Liz, I was hearing frightening things like you should kill yourself, or you're a bee, or you're this and that. And then once you learn how to clear that, which took me a very long time, to learn how to be spiritually strong, I want to say, where you can come in and go, no, out. Because we have the power within ourselves to say, you need to get out of my field. Whatever doesn't belong in my field, out, right? So now you can feel the difference. You're like, oh, the angels are yummy energy. The angels are making me tear up. The angels are making me smile. The angels are making me expand. See, when the bad stuff comes in, you're contracting, right? So expanding, you want to feel that expansion. So Now I know when the angels and my guides are coming in, because it is a totally different feeling. You're at peace, you're at calm, you're seeing beautiful colors. You can feel it in your heart. You're expanding. So that is the difference for me.
Mm-hmm.
But when I first started, it was scary. It was really scary because you're like, wait a minute, I'm hearing things and these are not nice things that are coming to me. And they attack onto you. So if you keep thinking about it and bringing it up, more of that dark energy is going to come to you and lower you down. And just simply looking at your eyes too, if you go look in the mirror, you can tell when you're expanded, when you're contracted, or something is glommed onto you. So that's how I knew the difference.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And the expansion and contraction thing, I think that's something that's very underrated, that people, just stop for a minute and just feel what that feels like. But when you're such a bright light, then you're just going to, and you don't know how to deal with that, you don't know how to control your own energy, then you are just attracting everything from everywhere. And like you say, you've got control of it. You open the door, no, not today, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Or, oh, hey, come in. It's that as simple as that, isn't it?
It truly is. But, I am human. You are human. Sometimes it gets to me so bad because I can feel that I don't know what's happening. And when you're not in that perfect alignment, that perfect vibration, it'll take me down and it'll take me days to climb out of that darkness because it's so far around me. And the best thing that what I do to clear it, once I kind of go, wait a minute, I'm so out of it right now. My vibration is so far down. This is not good. Where's Mary? Hello. I go like this. I go, SOS, angels, SOS. I need help now. Like right now, you have to come in and help me. And what I do is I jump into a white swimming pool, and I start swimming. And then you expand it even more, the pool. And then you say, angels, wring me out. And you imagine your body just being like wrung out like a towel. Swim, wring me out. And that really works. And then the angels will take me into a circle, and you start swimming in the circle. And then you bring in the color of violet. Violet is transformation and forgiveness. So you bring that energy in. Now you're really getting cleaned out. And then you're like, oh, okay. But that should be a daily practice for people, especially if you're brand new, because you are going out. People don't realize you are going out and picking up energy wherever you go. And it is glomming onto you. And when people talk about somebody else, that's energy. It's coming to you. So you need to learn how to protect yourself. And the best thing is that Archangel Michael's sword down your back. You're protected. You're in your safe little bubble. And you simply say, any entities, any probes, any psychic attacks that come near me, get gently and swiftly bounced off back into love. Because when we talk about somebody, we're usually talking negative about somebody, right? Or we're judging somebody. That's going to us.
Yeah. And the universe gives out what you're putting out, doesn't it? We're magnets, so we're attracting that back.
Right.
Yeah.
So
getting some great tips here. Thank you.
Thanks. Oh, it's just the beginning.
Right. Let me jump into what I'm dying to know about. So, power retrieval, where did that come from and what does it involve?
So, power retrieval for me, what was happening to me is I was giving my energy away to your family. You're giving your energy away to your family. You're giving your energy away to your whoever's in your circle, your work life, whatever. And when you're constantly giving your energy away, it's depleting you. What are we made out of? We are made out of energy. We are made out of divine feminine and divine masculine energy, and they need to be in balance. So when you're constantly, what I like to call it, leaking your energy, because when you're not taking care of yourself and filling up those empty buckets inside yourself, and you're just giving, and you're getting stepped on, and you've gone through this trauma, abuse, mental abuse, all of that is such huge trauma on us. And you don't understand that that's just another layer. And you're like, I'm okay. I'm okay. No, you're not okay. Look at you. You're depleted. You're usually losing your wealth. You're losing your beauty. You're losing who you are. And what comes next? Illness. Illness. So power retrieval is learning how to call your energy back. Wow. Energy doesn't die. We have the power within ourselves to go, no more. Now it's time. Bring it back. Right? So you can bring back all that energy. So what I teach through power retrieval is to learn how to tell the tips to go back to those traumas, to go back when you were born, when your mom didn't want to have you. There it is again, right? And so it's going back and looking at it and looking at that situation. And another huge thing is when we are guilty, we can't function, right? Because you're so upset and you're just leaking all that energy. You go back to that time you were nasty to another human being, or another human being was nasty to you. That's your energy is gonzo. So we go back, we look at that. I put them in violet fire, transformation and forgiveness. And we learn how to release the guilt, the shame, the blame, the trauma. And then I teach you how to call your energy back. So you can call your emotional energy back, your physical energy back, your sexual energy back, because we've got stolen from that. How about your innocence? So now we're just creating this massive expansion of this gorgeous body that's yours. That energy is yours. And we can change it. Isn't that wonderful?
It really is.
My power retrieval techniques is going back, looking at all these things. And the more you start these little techniques that I have, the more you're going to go back and go, oh yeah, I remember when I was 4 years old and that bully bullied me. You go back, you forgive it. You forgive it, and you forgive yourself.
Yeah, that's the big
because the power is within you. There's no hierarchy, none, zip zero. We are here on schoolroom earth to learn that fear is illusion and love is that all that matters, right? So that's why we're going through all these fearful things. That's why we're going through these traumas. Now, are we going to be a victim? Are we going to, because I could have been a victim. I could have still been in that rotten marriage. I could have, and God knows what I would have looked like then. I would have probably looked like I was 90 years old because I would have been so shriveled up and ill. So we go back and just go back, call your energy back, purified and restored. And another thing that I teach is when you are, so we have our higher selves, right? That's where we want to live, is our higher selves, our best selves. So that's your soul, your higher soul. And then we have a drop. We have a drop of our soul here on Mary. And so I'm having experience for my soul to learn, right? So whatever I do here is not good or bad, but we want to learn how to bring our fearfulness back into love. And then we have the lower mind. What's the lower mind? The lower mind is the old male and the old female. And so, excuse me. And so we need to go in and go, okay, where am I leaking my energy? Is my energy going in the past? Most of the time, everybody's in the past because, oh my God, that past is going to come back right now. Or we're in the future. So the past is when we're in the feminine lower aspects of us. When we're in the past going, oh my God, that guilt, that shame. Oh my God, I can't believe she said that to me. Blah, blah, blah. That's the lowest you can go when your feminine is so low. Our feminine power is the most powerful thing we have. Now, we have the male in its lower form. The old male is always trying to control. We're judging, we're controlling, we're going to control how the future, what's going on in the future. How am I going to manipulate that person and that situation in the future? You're leaking your energy constantly. So we need to learn, and that's exactly what the power retrieval tools that I teach is how to come back. So we're at the highest male form, the highest female form, because they have to work as one. The divine feminine is the most powerful thing we have. We need to be filled up with the divine feminine energy every single day so we feel safe and secure. Because if you don't feel safe and secure, you cannot live your life at your highest best. Did that make sense?
Absolutely. Total sense. And there's so much fear about now. You know, there was the whole, all through the pandemic, there was the whole fear, resentment, anger. There's so much with the Ukraine war, just everywhere. It just seems to me, I don't know about you, I've spoken about this with other guests, it just seems to be a lot of fear, a lot of anger, a lot of control, and people are, the energy is quite out of balance, isn't it? It really is out of balance. So what would you recommend? Obviously there's the power retrieval tools that people can come to you for, but what would you recommend on like a day-to-day level? Just something simple. So we've got the protection with Archangel Michael's sword. What other little tips have you got that might be able to help people that are feeling fearful?
Yes. So let's talk about this war. Let's talk about the pandemic for a second. So the television is a great example of when you watch that, you are picking up that vibration. When you're watching a scary movie, you're picking up that vibration. You know how you can't sleep? Yeah, because you are picking up that horrible show you just watched, right? So when you're watching the news and they're doing all these fear-based things, oh my gosh, Mother Earth is, she's, you know, we're going to be, it's overheating and it's overcooling and all that. Guess what, people? She knows what she's doing. She's the most amazing being there is, and she's our mommy here right now. So there's tools to help her as well. But when we watch these, like this fearful stuff about the war and all that, yes, it's tragic. It's horrible what's going on. But we need to be neutral, right? We don't want to go in and give our energy into that more, because what we're doing is we're making that collective energy bigger. So we want to stand back and be neutral with this energy. We don't want to put our, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. Oh my gosh, did you see what they said on the news? No, don't do that anymore. Neutral. Send love to that place. Send things. You know what I like to do is I like to get on my dragon. When you're meditation, when you've got a couple of minutes, get on your dragon with my little Mary. Your divine child is your soul. That is how you connect to your higher self, with your little child that lives within you. Get on there. And what I do is I fly over wherever there's people that are starving, cold, whatever. So you can go over the war right now, what we're dealing with right now, and pull out of your pocket some violet fire love bombs, blast it on there. So now you're helping. We're helping now instead of giving that fearful energy. So it's just amazing if you just did this. I mean, I'm telling you, your guides and angels are going to be like, thank you, thank you, thank you, because that's what we need to be doing. Now, another great tip is what I love to do in the mornings is, first of all, the Mother Earth is a living being, part of the solar system, with all the 12 archangels. They're part of the solar system, right? They're the one who designed Schoolroom Earth. This is a very special place to come and to learn for our evolution as our soul that is up in heaven, wherever you want to call where your higher self is, your soul is. So we're here. Now I just lost my train of thought. Oh goodness, it was so good too.
We're talking about Mother Earth, and so
yes.
how
okay.
she's gone.
Yes. Thank you so much for putting me back in track. I get so excited because I got all these energies coming at me. Okay. So what you want to do is so Mother Earth is our mother. She's here to take care of you. You know, when you go out for a walk, you're like, gosh, I needed that. I feel so good after you go out and go for a beautiful walk, hug a tree, smell the flowers, the wind. You're just like, That's your mommy filling you up, right? So start doing that more because it gives to her and it rejuvenates us. So it's what you want to do. You don't have to go outside. You can do it in the morning. Stand up, or you can imagine yourself standing up. And I want you to go wherever there is fear within my mind, I release it. I let it go. And just let that energy fly down through your feet, down to Mother Earth. Wherever there is anxiety within me, I release it and I let it go. Wherever there is any an unbalance inside of me, I let it go. And just let that energy flow down through your feet. And then your good old beautiful Mother Earth is going to replenish you with new, beautiful energy. And I'm telling you, that is the greatest thing to do every day, because you're releasing it. You're setting intention to release it. And then put your big golden hat on top of your head, Archangel Michael's sword on top, and you're ready to go have the best day of your life.
Go back to the hat. Tell me more about the hat.
Okay. So I work with 2 hats. So 2 hats. The first hat I like to work with is a violet fire hat. Violet fire is where your crown chakra is, right? That's one of the most important chakras. Well, they're all important, but this one, it helps you keep your head straight and clear. We want to have a clear mind, right? Mm-hmm. We don't want to be in the past. We don't want to be in the future. It's hard for all of us because we all get our vibration off, and that's what happens. Unless you're perfect. And I'm not perfect.
Me either. I think it's very overrated. Perfect.
I do too. And I'm okay with that. I'm here to learn, man. Yeah. Great. So this is what I teach my clients as well. So when that brain is so hyperactive and you just can't control it, you make a purple hat. Now you can make a purple hat anything you want. Feathers, big hat, elegant hat, I don't care, a beanie. But you want that hat to cover all the way down to your ears. You put that hat in. That energy, and you imagine that energy is coming through your head, and it's going to start to calm you down. Calm you down so you can get back in your divine feminine brain. The divine masculine always takes us a little crazy. We're judging, we're doing something. We want to be in our feminine brain, period. Because that's where the intuition kicks in. So now that you got your beautiful purple violet hat on, now you take your gold. I'll show you. So this card right here, everybody. I thought
you'd physically got a hat you were going to pop on.
Yeah, I'm like, boom. So do you see the crown here?
Yes.
Okay. That crown has got 12 stars on it. Those stars represent the 12 archangels from the central sun. They're the ones who design school remote. You take that golden crown, put it right on top of your head, and you just say, I am now connected. I am connected to my divinity. My divinity is connected to my humanity. Beautiful. Because now you're in alignment. You've got that golden crown on your head. You are in alignment. And you got Archangel Michael's sword. Don't forget his sword.
What else do you need? But that is so simple.
Yeah.
But so powerful.
Very.
I really like that. I'm making notes myself here. When I edit, I've got a notebook and I write everybody's.
Yeah, it's wonderful. That's what's so exciting about how we can do this now with these podcasts, because all of us resonate to different tips and tricks, and it's so wonderful that we have people like you that are like, okay, let me see what this expert has and what is this person, and it's like one person might go, oh, she's a silly lady, this lady Mary, but I love that violet fire hat on my head, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. It's giving people the buffet of spirituality. That's my thing. And because there's a little bit of something, there's little nuggets for everybody.
That's right.
And there'll be things that you've said that people like. For me, that sword is just like, I love that. Why didn't I know that? It's little nuggets like that stick with you, isn't it? That you remember, and that, exactly that. And it's now with the power of Zoom, it's just wonderful that we can chat from anywhere in the world about all these things, and we're all learning together.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, the time is now. I mean, it truly is. We all signed up to be here at this time because it's the time of Terra. So it's the time of love.
Mm-hmm.
So we're here to do our work. And this is why you have this podcast, right? You're here to help other people. So it's just amazing that we're lucky. We're really lucky. And
Very
I'm sure
lucky.
you've gone through trauma and you've gone through this and that. And it's like, yeah, it's time to speak about it. It's
Mm-hmm.
time to say, yes, this happened to me. My life was not perfect, but I'm going to try my damnedest to regain my power and to show others how to do the same. So it's a great time.
It is, and we all have our own unique flavors, don't we? Our unique vibration that we might cross over on our traumas, but they are what it's always been there, but it's just that wake up, isn't it? That dark night of the soul that you just sort of think, right, hang on a minute. I mean, and I pushed mine down for about 10, 12 years, a bit longer maybe. No, didn't happen. No, push it down, push it down, push it down. But then it's like a jack in a box, isn't it? There's no getting away from it. But then I've just been on this quest all my life because I'm just fascinated. I've done lots of different healing modalities to help myself, to help others, or it's normally something that I've been for and it's really resonated with me. And I've been like, wow, I need to learn that.
Yeah.
And I think this is how we can all bring this together, isn't it? So I'm going to ask you a biggie now. You've covered on it, you've touched on it a few times, but at the beginning you did. What I feel is sadly lacking at the moment is self-love. And unfortunately, people see it as selfish, taking time. I'm always as you will be, put your own oxygen mask on first before you help others, that type of thing. And that's seen as selfish in this world when really there are really selfish things going on and people think that they're okay. But anyway, that's another story. So
Mm-hmm.
what would you recommend or what guidance could you give people? What tips could you give people for self-love and bringing them back to themselves and being okay with themselves and loving who they are?
Yeah. So self-love is huge. So for me, going through what happened to me, I lost my self-love. I was giving my energy and my power to everybody else and forgetting who I was. And it just depletes you. It truly depletes you. Now, self-love is all nice and good because yeah, you can self-love yourself. You can self-love your car and all that. Oh, that's who I am. Really? Is that really who you are? Why do we have to have so many mirrors in our house? Do we always have to be looking at ourselves? Is that self-love? No. Self-love is actually tapping in and going, what am I feeling? What do I need? Right? Why am I so depleted? Why am I feeling this way? What am I feeling? What do I need? Those are very, very powerful things that we need to start asking ourselves because we make poor decisions, very poor decisions because we're not going in and going, why am I doing this? Why am I having an affair? Why am I doing this? Wait a minute. What am I feeling? Oh, I'm not getting this. But you're not going to get it from your partner, but you're going to go have an affair. How about say, what am I feeling? Well, I'm not feeling safe and secure. I'm not feeling like I'm beautiful or whatever. So you need to learn how to fill up with self-respect, self-confidence. I am powerful. And you need to keep your bucket full. Those empty buckets, you got to check in. Oh my gosh, my creativity is down. My root chakra, which is super important, that needs to be overflowing with mother's love. Because most of the time, why we're not giving ourselves self-love is because we don't feel secure. Right? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So I have a great tip. Oh my God, this works so good. Everybody needs to do this and comment. Tell me if it works because it's changed my life.
Oh, go on.
This is what you do. This is so cool. You're going to love this. You're going to be like, whoa. Okay. So you set your phone because everybody has a phone. Whatever time you get up, I set my phone for 8 o'clock in the morning. Every single hour, your phone alarm is going to go off until I stop at 6.
Mm-hmm.
And your phone is going to beep at 8 o'clock, and you're going to stop, and you're going to go, I love myself. I am filling up with self-love. I am filling up with self-gratitude. I am filling up with the healing power that I need right now. I'm connecting with my guides and angels. Whatever you want, or this is very powerful. I am creating more love within myself.
Nice.
I am creating more respect within myself. Is that powerful? That is powerful. When you say I am, you are connecting to your higher self, right? I am willing is a huge word too. I am willing to feel my feelings. Once you start doing this, I am filling up with more self-respect, because it is more about self-respect. Once you start self-respecting yourself, you can start self-loving yourself, right? This is powerful.
It is.
And it works. So just try it for 5 days. In 2 days, you're going to feel a difference. And you're going to be like, before 10 o'clock, that 1 minute before 10 o'clock, you're already like, and you know what? You can do it. Nobody needs to know at work. You just go, okay, you need to be quiet for a minute. I'm filling up with self-love. And it's like, boom. You want to get in touch with your guides and your angels? You do that. I am creating a stronger bond with my guides and angels because you're calling on them. I will you forward. I am ready to make a bond with you. Whatever you want, but you do that every hour for 5 days, your life will change.
Perfect. Yeah, I love that. I've heard people doing it with presence, just stopping. I recommend that to people, stop, breathe, feel, be in your body. But I really love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be setting my alarm on my phone.
Good. You're going to love it. And it's powerful. And when you start really going, I'm creating, that is super powerful, because why are we here? We are made in the image of God. That is true source. What is source? Is always creating. We are creators. So we are creating our own reality. So if you don't like your life right now, you have a power to change it. You have the power within yourself to change it. I know, because I did it. So I'm creating freedom. I'm creating more self-love. I am creating more power within myself. Right? Powerful.
But you know what? Powerful, but so simple. And do you not think the best things are the simple ones?
Yes.
I think there can be a lot of spiritual arrogance with all this. So, you do this several times, do this. But when it comes down to it, simple things like that are the ones that are the mind blowing. I always think if you go back to basics, that's where you learn.
And I know that's why I'm here, because I take everything that is so grand, and I take it down so everybody can use these tools, every single person. Because when you hear some of the spiritual people talking, I'm like, I don't understand anything.
No.
And then I'm like, well, why don't you just take it and do this? Make it simple so we can all understand it.
Definitely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, I always ask people, but I think you've answered it in and amongst. I always ask people, what are the 3 things that you would go back to tell the younger Mary, the 20-year-old Mary? But I think you've more or less covered that. Is there anything else that you'd like to add that you can think of?
That the 20 Mary, keep your skirt down. Catholic girls. But she's a blessing. That kid is a blessing. That fear is an illusion, because I was so fearful of everything, and fear is in our mind. Yes, you could be fearful of a dog's going to bite you, a bear's chasing you. Of course, you're going to get that vibration. But fear will take us down the garden path that we don't want to be on. And that I wish I knew that, and that I had the power within myself to make better choices. You know, it's all about your choice. Where we are on planet Earth is the only place where we have free will. Right. So we're trying to put our soul in the driver's seat instead of our free will. Woo, who cares? Let's do this. Try to go, okay. You know, what I like to do when my mind starts going crazy, I go, I surrender to my higher self. Take over. SOS. I'm getting out of control.
I love that, right? SOS. Yeah. It is, though, because the mind, and it's part of, we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and it's part of the human experience is this mind. I talk about this every week, this mind that just, sometimes it just goes crazy. I've just come back from holiday. We've just nipped away for a few days, and we were in a beautiful place. It was woods around, it was grass around, it was pure, what you were saying about Mother Earth, that pure being in this constant held. It was just wonderful. Deer about, rabbits, all sorts of wildlife.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, so nice. And now I've lost my track, you see. This is
I know.
This is menopause for you. Where was I going with this?
See, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
I do. This is what happens to me. And now I've completely lost.
You're talking about going on holiday and coming back, and you have to get
so the first,
in your mind.
Thank you very much for bringing me back. Not very professional, is it? But I for the first day or so, it takes me a while to shut up, to shut this head up, because it's, oh, did I do that? You know, like businesses, did I do that? Did I remember to do this? Oh, did I? And it's like this constant doing. And like you say, because we're, you know, looking after everybody else, is everybody else okay, blah blah. But then when you just get to that quiet, and what did it for me was, I just went, there was a gorgeous little wood attached to it, and I just went, and there was this perfect log that was mossy on top, so it was just the perfect cushion, and I just sat there, and like I give in. I was like, I give in, help me please, I need help, I can't shut it up. And I just sat, and I thought, I don't want to close my eyes. And I just looked around. The sun was coming in, the beautiful green, that wonderful green of the sun through the leaves, the butterflies, everything. And it was just like,
I'm okay.
Yeah, I really am.
Yeah, nature is that she's the miracle worker. When I don't go outside, I go crazy. It's like my husband will go, you need to go. I'm like, yeah, I do. And I'll go out there, and I'm like, you know, I talk to the fairies, I talk to the rocks, and I can be out there for hours. Yeah, and you know what I do too? This is kind of, they're going to go, wow, she's really kooky. What I like to do is lay down, put your belly down on Mother Earth, and watch what happens. You'll probably cry.
That's, well, this in Chinese medicine, there's something about if you're very upset, you know, if there's like heartbreak or loss, lay and stress, lay on your stomach. And so, yeah, doing that on the earth. I don't normally do it on my stomach, I have to say. I normally lay on my back, and I'm looking at the leaves or the sky.
Next time, try on your stomach, because you're going to have a different reaction. Because we always go on our backs. Go on your, and I actually put my face right on, and then I'll switch to the other side, and I have cried and cried and cried, and it's just so beautiful. You could just feel her just taking all your pain away. It's amazing. That's truly beautiful. Is a beautiful living being, and she's our mommy. And you know who our grandma is? The grandma is the moon, Archangel Morgan. And so, you know how you go outside and you stretch your arms out in those full moons, and you know how you're just so alive, and just imagine that beautiful white, it's like a milky white that comes through you. Oh my gosh, it's powerful. And then, you know, you call on the two of them. I was going, hey, grandma, I need some help.
Oh, I love that. Oh, Mary, you've been an absolute pleasure. I've absolutely loved our time together, and I know our listeners will have done as well. So thank you so much for taking the time to join me. So guys, I'll put all Mary's details in the show notes below, her website, her YouTube channel, Instagram, all the usual. And if I can remind you to like and subscribe to my channel, Lizzy Hill 222, and also to Mary's channel, details down below. And the podcast, if you can just give us a little like, or if you really love us, you could give us a 5-star review. That'd be really quite nice. Thank you. But on that note, Mary, thank you. Really thank you. I've absolutely loved it. And guys, thanks for joining us, and I'll be back again soon. Bye.